So this evening I'm going to share with you a really quick and easy dessert that it's really easy to make. We've been making this for a lot of years, and it's really quick and easy, and it's really good for fall and winter time when it's cold outside, which it's gotten cold here in Iowa, so we're starting to make this again. And you can do it with a whole bunch of different fruit. We have done it with apples, we've done it with peaches, we've done it with pears, we've done it with berries. Really, the fruit that you could choose to use this in this dessert is really any type of fruit that you like. And it's been delicious with all those types of fruit that we've tried it with. That's what we have on our farm, so that's what we have used. So, this is a quick, easy cobbler is what we're making. So, tonight we're making it with our apples from our orchard. And so, what we do for when we do apples, we do it kind of like apple pie filling. So we put some, we put apples, of course, and then you put some water, and you put some cinnamon and your spices that you like. Then we put a little pectin in it to thicken it up, to be like pie, right? To be like the pie filling. So as you can see right here, and we cook it on the stove in a pot until it thickens and it gets all mixed up. And this smells delicious too. So when you cook this in your home, and even if you do the other fruit too, it's going to smell delicious. But apples, especially in the fall and winter, have such a nice smell, right? With the cinnamon and everything like that. Cloves, all that type of stuff that you like. That's your first step, is on the stove, you get your fruit cooked. Now, if you do peaches, we do the same thing with, as far as, not the spices so much, but we do the peaches, and then we do pectin and get a little bit of, like, we have like a peach pie filling that we kind of like to do, so we mix that up and we make it in here, so it's kind of like the same thing for that. Now berries, we just really do sugar, but you could also do like pectin. Make sure you always put pectin in it because it's not going to be watery, right? You want to thicken that up, and then you can put, depending on the fruit, you know, you don't want to always put the same spices with the different fruits. So that's your first step. So once that is this, and then you're going to put that fruit in your baking dish. Now we use a 9x9 circular baking dish. You could do square. Sometimes we have done it in square. It just depends. We have a lot of these though, so we use these a lot. So that is what. So you first put you don't need to grease the dish or anything like that. You just put the fruit in here. Now, so we'll set that to the side. Now for the topping of the cobbler, it's very simple. It's 3 ingredients: butter, sugar, and flour for the topping of this cobbler. Now, we like a kind of a thicker topping, a thicker crust on the top. So we do 2, 2, and 2. 2 sticks of butter, 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of sugar. I believe that, but you could also do it just 1, 1, and 1 if you don't like very much topping, or if your dish is smaller too. And now you can always do it bigger. If you're doing this for like having a party or having guests over, you can always make it as big as you need to, because maybe you're doing 2 of these, or maybe you have a big rectangular dish, right? And you want to make the cobblers for everybody to enjoy it. You could do like 3, 3, and 3, or 4, 4, and 4, whatever the case may be. But it's easy because your ratio is always 1, 1, and 1 is your basic ratio. So depending on how much you want to add, you know, you just keep adding that. So that's why it's so simple, and that's why it's so easy too. So step 1, we have the fruit prepared. It's in the pan. Now, step 2 is making the topping. So okay, so we're gonna make the topping now for the cobbler. Now remember, I said the ratio is 1, 1, and 1, and it's butter, sugar, flour. Okay, 1 stick butter, 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of sugar. But like I said, we do 2, 2, and 2 because we like thicker topping. And like I said too, if you're making a bigger dish, then you could do it 3, 3, and 3, 4, 4, and 4, whatever your case may be. Our case tonight is 2, 2, and 2. So 2 cups of sugar in the bowl. Then 2 cups of flour in the bowl. Okay. And now, and also let me tell you, so when you have this in the bowl, you put the dry ingredients in first, and then you use a fork. And hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. The kids needed something. Okay, so anyway, so you get the dry ingredients, and you're just going to use a fork because you want it crumbly, because this is a cobbler. So you're going to crumble the topping on the top of the fruit. So right now we're just going to mix the flour and the sugar with this fork a little bit. I probably should have got a bit bigger bowl, but that's okay. Okay. So now we're going to mix in the butter, and you want it melted. So melt the butter, depending on how much you use, 1 stick, 2 sticks, 3 sticks, whatever the amount you're using, you melt it in there. And then you don't want it, you want to cool it down a tad before you mix it in here. And so that's what you do, okay? So it's cooled down, it's been melted, okay? So now we're just going to kind of, like I said, my bowl is not that big, so I'm just going to pour it gently in here and kind of around and mix a little bit as I go. And then in a minute I'm going to have to use my hands, but that's okay. Start off with using the fork. Yeah, just about have it. And also, once you have this in here, you will be able to tell too. Like, you might need a little bit more butter. You know, it depends too on that. So, okay, here we go. You want to help me here?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll up your sleeves. I don't think the butter is hot, so.
No, it's not.
Okay, so now you're just gonna mix it together, okay?
Okay, I'll be good at that.
Huh?
I'll be good at that.
Okay.
Oops.
Don't make a mess.
I won't.
Okay, go ahead.
That's the table.
Yeah, just mix it together because you.
That's-
Is it a little hot?
Yeah, it's a little hot.
The flour and sugar will help cool it down. So you're just gonna keep crumbling it together. And also, what you may find is we may need a little bit more flour. So we'll have to see. Once she gets this mixed up, we may have to go get a little bit more flour, because also you want it not so wet. The crumbles should be like dry but not too dry, but not wet too wet. You know, you kind of get a feel for it as you do it. Yeah, I think we may need a little bit more flour. So she's got it mixed up real well. When she did this, she kept making sure she's getting the bottom on that flour. You want to get all that mixed in. So gratefully, we did not need any more flour. At first, she kind of looked like it, but as long as you got all that flour mixed into it, it really, and see how it's kind of crumbly? So now when we put it on the top, we are going to, Hannah, you can help me, just take some like this, and then you want to crumble it. Crumble it. So you don't want to get too much in your hand at once. And you just crumble it. And you don't want to press it down, because then that will make it more like a dough, you know, kind of like a crust. Because this is, remember, what's going to happen, because this is crumbly, what's going to happen when you bake this, that delicious fruit and the, you know, the stuff that's in that fruit, it's going to cook up, and then some of that crumbles is going to cook down into it, and it's so delicious. It's just is a great mixture and a great texture, and that's what you want to happen when you bake it, for sure. And we want to get around the edges. And you don't want to pack it down tight. Like I said, you want it to be loose. You want it to be loose, like so. Okay. Now, that looks deliciously good. What do you think, Hannah?
Yes.
Okay. So now we got all the toppings on. So see how quick and easy that was. Now, let me move that out of the way so you guys can
go
see.
wash my hands.
So see, that's what it's going to look like. That looks perfect. Now, you will bake this now after to the last step. Your very last step would be baking it. Want to bake it about 365, depending on your oven, maybe 375. We have a pretty hot oven because we have propane. So if you have a gas oven, you know, you could probably do 375. Then now it's going to cook for a while because you want all of that crust, and once it cooks up and through and it kind of mixes together, you know, the middle part you want it to be cooked. You know, you don't want it to be doughy. So check it about 30 minutes, but it may have to go to about 45 minutes. It's going to be brown on the top. When you see the fruit coming up and bubbling around the edges, you want to cook it a little bit longer because then that bottom part and the middle part has to cook. Like I said, this dough. But after that, and then you want to, and it's brown, you know, then it will be done and it'll be delicious. Tip though, because like I said, the fruit is going to come up and bubble over a little bit. Put this on a baking sheet or put aluminum foil in your oven underneath it. It'll help clean it up easier in the oven, so then you don't have a humongous mess. And also, if it's getting brown on the top too quick, and you feel like it's not bubbling over yet, or it still needs to cook, you can always put aluminum foil on the top too to keep it not from getting so brown. So a couple tips that will help you have a delicious, quick and easy fall and wintertime dessert with delicious fruit. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to our channel if you like our channel. Thanks, we appreciate it. Bye. Bye.